is Infernal from Disaster from Germany, and you are listening to the FANTASM Podcast.
FANTASM.
Hey, this is Dr. Vincent West, medical doctor with the FANTASM Podcast, and I'm very excited today to have Marcus with us from Desaster. We're going to be talking all about their new album that dropped today from Metal Blade Records. Marcus, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. I have just started celebrating the release date. You know, I had a couple of beers. I'm in a good mood. And the weekend has also just begun. So, yeah, cheers to everybody.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you for doing this. And before we get started with the new record, can you tell us about how Desaster came together originally for everybody, for our listeners?
Okay, that's a long time ago. We are existing for over 30 years now. So we started as some kids in the late 80s. It was in 1988, 1989 when we started. We were Venom fans. We wanted to make as much noise as our favorite band, Venom, you know. And when watching the old videos of Venom, we made the plan to found a band, and yeah, it was a song from Destruction, the German thrash band Destruction. I hope you know them.
Oh, absolutely.
They had a song on their first mini album, which was called Total Disaster, and there was a misspelling. They didn't spell the word disaster right. They did the German spelling with an E instead of an I, you know, and so we overtook this misspelling and called ourselves Desaster. So you see, it was a very catastrophic beginning of the band, and that's how it all started.
So for you, with all of because growing up for me in the States, I always preferred the Teutonic thrash, the German thrash, if you will, over a lot of the American stuff. And we've had Shamir on a bunch from Destruction. He's been on the podcast. We've had Millie from Creator. Now it's so awesome to have you guys on too, to join that. What do you think, looking back after all this time? I mean, I think the Teutonic thrash is the best thrash. And I was curious what you thought about that as well. Growing up for me, I thought the Teutonic thrash, the German thrash, was so much more extreme than a lot of the American stuff. So I really gravitated towards bands like Destruction and Creator growing up. And I was curious for you what you thought of the Teutonic thrash, as far as even whether you consider Disaster part of that, or do you guys consider yourself different from that, or what did you feel about that?
Well, in the 80s, we of course also grew up with those bands on the German Teutonic thrash bands. You know, Destruction guys told me that they were of course influenced by Slayer as well.
Sure.
But I think there was a difference between the sound of the American bands and the sound of the German bands. I think the German bands, they were more evil sounding, even Creator on the first LP, Endless Pain. And that was the most difference between the bands. And of course we were influenced by both, by American bands, by the German thrash metal bands, and but we were later, you know. Of course, those bands started much earlier than we did, so we are the sons of them. We don't consider us as a part of the first wave of thrash metal from Germany.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. For me, growing up, because I love death metal, so I felt like the Teutonic stuff always had more of an influence on the stuff that I grew up listening to, more than the American stuff did.
Really? You were more influenced by the German bands?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought Destruction and Creator, I thought they were, and Sodom were way more influential on the death metal scene. Especially me growing up in Florida, I've always thought that it was, I mean, obviously Slayer of the American stuff, but a lot more of the American stuff I felt was a little too cookie cutter, as opposed to whereas the German stuff would just like punch you in the mouth and break your teeth.
That's a nice description.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially Sodom. Their sound was so evil, you know, on the first mini LP, on the Obsessed by Cruelty LP, there was so much noise on it. I think all the war metal bands nowadays, they were influenced by early Sodom, and that's great. Of course, we in Germany are proud that our early bands influenced so many others, you know, that's great.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into the new album. What are some of your favorite tracks on Churches Without Saints?
My favorite track from the new album is the title track. I like it very much because it's an unusual track for Desaster. Normally we play fast all the time, and this time my goal was to make a slow one, doomy one, you know, and yeah, I very much like the outcome of the title track, especially. But of course, I love every single song on the album. Otherwise, we had to throw it away. But the title track is my favorite one, and I like the first one a lot. Learn to Love the Void, because this is a great opener, great song to open a Disaster album. As a refreshing, you know, like old Voivod with a little bit punk touch, you know. We also like old punk music, The Exploited, you know, great bands, great violence, aggression, you know, and
sure.
Yeah, we have summed it up in this first song, Learn to Love the Void.
And for the album, can you talk a little bit about the production? When you tell us a little bit about the studio and going in and doing all that good stuff.
Yeah, talking about the production of the album, again, we stayed at our rehearsal room and we recorded there because we like to have a good atmosphere, you know, when we were recording. Some studios, they don't have a good atmosphere, you know, it's too clinical, and so we stayed at home and recorded at home. And this time we wanted to have a very special sound. We wanted to have an old organic product. Yeah, for the production of the new album, we again decided to do it in us. We like the atmosphere there, you know. We are
right.
Familiar with the room. We know where to be at. So
well, he did a great job. The artwork is awesome. You got to have the whole package for a great metal album, and man, you guys really have it. The artwork kicks ass for the new album.
Thank you. It's always very important that you also have a good album cover. It has to fix. It has to show the music visually, you know. So I think it's good. Yeah.
And then tell us, as far as when was the last time that you guys were out on the road, like pre-COVID?
I remember it very good. It was in March 2020. The last show was in Sweden. We played there on a festival together with Asphyx, and that was the last concert. So over a year, no live shows. We are suffering a lot, you know. But on the other hand, this gave us some time to work on the album very, very well. You know, we could concentrate on rehearsing, on songwriting. And that was a good thing about all this COVID shit, you know.
Right. Did you guys already working on stuff for the next record as well?
Yeah, I really started to record a new song even before the Churches Without Saints album was released. So I think the fans don't have to wait again 5 years for the next Disaster album. I think we are faster now.
Well, that's awesome. And then can you talk about what other tracks on the record for you are ones you'd like to maybe play live, or they really stand out tracks for you as far as stuff on the album?
Yeah, as I mentioned already, the title track, the first one, Love to Learn the Void.
Absolutely.
And another song I really appreciate is Exile is Imminent. I really like the beginning of this song, it has a very unusual rhythm at the beginning, and then there comes a death metal panzer, a panzer rolling over you, and
right.
I like this song very much. I think it has a very, very good chorus. Satanic does a very good job singing along this track, and I really, I'm really looking forward to play this one live. I think all the fans will be totally aggressive, they will freak out and sing along with us the chorus, and that will be great to play all the new songs. Not all, but I think we will play 2 or 3 songs live, and I'm looking forward to that.
I think one of my favorite tracks on the album, if you could tell us about it, is track 10, Endless Awakening. I really like that track.
Yeah, that was our slower ones, and it's always hard work to persuade our singer Satanic to do this kind of slow tracks, because he's a speed junkie,
Right.
He likes the fast tracks, he likes the pounding, and he's always a little bit skeptical when I come with some slow stuff, but at the end it is really his favorite track on the album. So that's a good track. It starts very slowly with an acoustic guitar intro, and at the end you have all the black metal blasting, which is really, really great track.
Oh yeah, man! It's. I mean, even the slower tracks on the album, it still sounds like Disaster. You can always tell it's you guys when you're. Even if it's slowed down a little bit, if he wants to go fast, you can even still tell it's the band. And I love the mixture of the different songs on the album. I think the album as a whole is really, really good.
Thank you very much. That was a goal. Yeah, we always pay a lot of attention on sounding different, on an album. We want to show our variety. We don't want to play fast all the time. I think that would be boring. So we have some black metal songs on it. We have some thrash metal pounding songs, but we also have some epic tunes and epic stuff on it. Some doomy songs, and that makes a good mixture. And I think on this album, the new album, this mixture, the typical Disaster mixture, is very, very good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love the variety on the new album. But I think as a whole, it just plays out great. Everything just runs together perfectly. And real quick, as far as to go back to the recording of the album, can you tell us a little bit about the production of the album? Like as far as the mixing and production on it?
Yeah, for the first time we had a guy called Jan Gensheimer. German is difficult, I know. He is our live mixer, and he also is the live mixer of Asphyx. And I think he knows our sound very, very good. He also knows our mistakes we make on stage.
Right.
So, we are called Disaster, so sometimes we have some mistakes. And he is able to handle us, and our mistakes and our whole disaster, and I think it was a good choice to give him the chance to record the album together with us. It was his first real big production for a well-known band. He did also the last album of a band called Metal Inquisitor. I don't know if you know this band.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Also from our hometown. Koblenz, yes, and he did the last album, and we liked the sound, and we gave him the chance to record us, and the work, the cooperation was very, very good, and I think we did a good job.
Oh yeah, man. The mix on the album is fucking brutal. It sounds so good. Again, I listened to it. I always give a record a couple different listens. I'll listen to it on headphones. I've got some really nice Bose headphones, and then I'll listen to it in the car. Man, it sounds great.
Thank you very much. That's great to hear.
Yeah, man.
Play it loud.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And then, so what do you guys have any plans to do any shows this year, or you are going to try to shoot for next year, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, the situation is becoming better now. There are the vaccination process, even in Germany, is getting better and better. And I think next month already, in July, we are able to play the first concert. Of course, with some restrictions, but I think it's great to play on a stage again. You know, we are not a band into streaming concerts. That's boring, I think. And,
right.
So we need some audience. We want to smell the fans, you know. And so yeah, it really looks good that in July and even in August and the following months there will be concerts again in Germany, and hopefully for the end of the year we had some plans to go to South America again. I hope that this will become true.
Awesome. And let me ask you this: how long has it been, or have you guys ever played in the States before?
Could you repeat your question, please?
How long, or if ever, have you guys ever played in the States before?
In the States, I think last time we played in the States was around 5 years ago. We played the Maryland Death Festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and some I think one show in Houston, Texas, and I think also another little show, and we played one show in Canada, which was great. And yeah, I think it was 4, 5, or 6 years ago. We have to return.
Yeah, man. You guys are ever in Florida, I'm buying the beer.
Yes, we have never played in Florida, so...
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Where I'm at, I'm really close to New Orleans. New Orleans is about 2 hours from where I live, so...
Oh, great city. I love this French style, you know. I love it. I watched a lot of movies from the southern states, you know, and yeah, it would be cool to visit New Orleans and also the Everglades, you know, and that's great. I want to play there. Yeah,
that would be incredible. Yeah. And then as far as so you guys, are y'all doing some festival stuff? Is that what you're shooting for this year?
Yes. I think we will only do festivals because small shows will be still restricted a lot, and I don't think that in a small club many people can gather together, you know. So I think festivals, open air festivals, will take place, and so we are looking forward to them.
Well, Marcus, I can't thank you enough for doing this today. Guys, buy the new album from Desaster. Churches Without Saints is available now from Metal Blade Records. Marcus, thank you so much for doing this. I can't thank you enough. The new album kicks ass. It's so good.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for inviting me to this little chat. And I will continue now drinking and celebrating the release day of Churches Without Saints.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time, and congratulations on the new album. It kicks ass.
Thank you very much.